Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm so glad y'all are here today. Listen, we've got such an exciting show for y'all today. I can't even call it a show because this is just a movement. We're going to call this
Yeah.
a movement, like one of our other persons said on here, a movement. We've got a wonderful guest who has agreed to do an interview with our platform today, and I'm so excited to have her on board today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to introduce to you Miss ROJONAH Harris. Did I say that right, ROJONAH?
ROJONAH.
ROJONAH. Listen, I'm all giving you a whole Italian name and everything, girl.
I take
Miss
it.
Miss ROJONAH Harris is joining us today. Thank you for being in studio today.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it so much.
I mean, I'm so excited. Now, for those of you who may not know, Miss Harris is actually one of the cast members, the cast stars of the great hit TV show 60 Days In. Now, if you have not seen the show, go on over there to your cable channels and view it because it is a phenomenal show. Now, the show 60 Days In spotlights several people who decided that since they changed their life around from being in prison and now they're out of prison and changed their life around, they wanted to help others to find ways that we can help the prison systems become better and to really help some of these prisoners with some things that's going on in some of these prisons. Basically, they decided to take their own life and put it on hold, go back into the prisons voluntarily, and help the sheriff to be able to determine what needs to be changed in these prisons. Listen, y'all, they gave up their freedom to go back in to do these changes. I don't
Yeah.
even know if I would have had the strength to do it, but they have. And ROJONAH. I'm gonna get it right before the end of this day.
It's okay.
ROJONAH was so grateful. She is gracious. She is one of the people who decided, let me go ahead and go in and do this show. Now, you all were in a real prison, ROJONAH, right?
Yes, I served 2.5 years in federal prison in Aliceville, Alabama for tax fraud.
Wow. Now, you did that. You did your time for your tax fraud. You came out, and then you hear that there's a TV show that's looking for people to come inside, be treated as a prisoner again.
Well,
You took on that challenge.
well, the story went that they scouted me out. They saw my Instagram, and I
They
was on
did.
yeah, called from inmate to inspiration. So they emailed me and we were conversing. I thought it was a joke. I'm like, this cannot be real. But they
Wow.
didn't introduce themselves as who they were. They sent, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry. But they sent an email to me and they said they couldn't disclose who they were, but they would send me I had to sign an NDA first. I'm like,
Okay.
God, this is serious, you know? So they
Right.
link and I looked at the show and I said, you know what? Everything on here looks good, but only one show matches with me, and it's got to be 60 Days In. And at the time, I was about 6.5, 7 months pregnant. So I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, if I should say anything or how long it's going to be or what's going to happen. But it happened. I mean, I had so many barriers that were going against me for being on the show. But then I kept praying. I said, Lord, if you please, if you just, if it's in your will,
Hmm.
it will be done. And it was done.
Wow. So they went searching for people like you to be on this show. You answered the call, and there it went from there.
It
Wow.
did. It did. It was such a scary thing because it's like, did I really want to do this? Like, what would be my life's purpose? I had
Mhm.
done so much in the federal system, and I wanted everyone to see the amazing things that I could have accomplished had they seen while I was in there. Everything that was like me becoming a paralegal, me helping with cases in there,
Right.
me just being a phenomenal woman in there. I had become a teacher in there. I'm a skilled carpenter by trade through the NCCR, which I give credit to. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful that they had that program in there. But I wanted to execute my time differently because a lot of people, when they're in the system, they become complacent with just lying around and just, letting the time go by. But I figured differently. I say, well, the feds have already taken my time from me. I'm not going to give them any time by laying around here being stagnant. I have to do something with myself being in here. And I wanted to become what I call in my book, made a phenomenal
Okay.
woman.
So let's give them a little bit of information, like what you were just basically talking about right now. When I pulled up the 60 Days in cast members, I want to read what they have as your bio. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So they have Rojana served 30 months in a federal prison for tax fraud. They said that you're the mom of 7. So you have 7 babies?
I do. Yes.
7 babies. You experienced a total culture shock when she first went to prison. So when you first went to prison, they said you had a culture shock. You're like, what am I doing here?
Yes, that is correct.
They also said that when you went to prison, you cried yourself to sleep every night.
I did.
And then it goes on to say, after a few months of crying yourself to sleep, Rojana decided she wouldn't let prison break her.
That's right.
And she became what they call the jailhouse lawyer.
Yes, absolutely. I did.
So you said, listen, I'm in here and I'm going to make something out of this. We are not going to just sit idle and do nothing. I
That's
love that.
That's right. I had a schedule for every month that I was in there. I
Wow.
actually brought it home with me, but I had a schedule for every month that I was in there and how I wanted to utilize my time and on what days. Like I never had a stale moment where I wasn't doing anything, even when it got to getting up and working out and just whatever, going to the law library, going to church. I was actually in a lot of church plays up in there. Which
Okay.
I couldn't believe it, but I was, and I couldn't remember. I couldn't believe that I recited and remembered my lines, because it was scripted. I
Wow.
also did like a lot of just soul searching, finding myself while I was within the system.
Wow. I love that. I love that. So you also, it says here that you gained a certified carpenter. You became a certified carpenter on here as well.
Yes, that's correct. When I went to prison, I found I found out they were doing a program that was through this NCCER,
Mhm.
and they kept advertising for it. And I'm like, it's 1,800 women in this facility. I just got here. Let me just take a chance. So I literally ran the instructor down. Like I kept sending emails and I kept trying to figure out who he was. And they were like, you can't go there. That'll be out of bounds. You can't go. And I'm like, I'm going to do something. I just can't sit here. And when
I
I
love that drive.
looked at the call sheet, it had my name, and I was like, oh, well, I didn't get in. And my friend came, she said, look, bro, you got in, you got in. I got in,
Wow.
and I'm like, this can't be this easy. You mean to tell me that 25 of us women got selected out of 1,800? These women had been here for some time. I'm just getting in here, and I'm in this class was mind blowing to me, but it
Wow.
was a part of my journey, and I
Right.
appreciate
And
it.
it's also a part of your drive. You had the drive to do this,
Yes.
whereas maybe the other women did not have that particular drive. This is amazing. It also says here that you earned your paralegal certification while you were there as well. And
Actually, oh, I'm sorry.
yes, and it said that you helped over 20 inmates with their cases. Some even had their charges dismissed with
That
your
is
help.
correct. And okay,
Wow.
so the paralegal part. So what I would do, I'm a strategic type of person, and I'm a
Okay.
businesswoman.
Okay.
So when I was having money put on my books, instead of me taking it and putting it into commissary, I put it towards my education. So my education was only $25 a month, but I didn't get a chance to finish that program. So when I made it home, I got to a certain extent, to a certain point, but once I stopped getting monies, I couldn't do anything else. So I couldn't finish that program. But by the time I did exit the facility and I made it home, my first paycheck, I started putting it into my program to become a paralegal. And it took me
Wow.
2 years, but I completed it. And then also in there, I opened up a bank account from the facility as well, because they have the Justice Federal Credit Union, which helps inmates be able to save money. So you can send money to the bank to save your money in there. I was one of the people that took advantage of that. I didn't want to come out just someone
Wow.
that, yes, I didn't want to take advantage of anyone coming home. I wanted to have my own money. It was $5 here, $20 there. Wasn't a lot, but it was enough for me being incarcerated. So
Wow.
with that, it was just so much going on. The inmates that were in there, I did help a lot. In a lot of cases, I did win. the problem was this. For me, I had a pending charge. I couldn't even beat my own case. Yet I was able to dissect someone else's case and instantly send it into the courts, and the case was dismissed. Or they run it concurrent with their federal sentence, which alleviated them from the stress they were going through, to help them go to halfway house, to help them go to RDAP. And me, I'm sitting there and I couldn't get out. You know, so it was like, why is this happening to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Isn't that amazing how, I call that a God setup, but most people are like, what? She couldn't do it for herself, but she's in there. You're almost like, Paul in there, helping everybody out. And you just still sitting there with your case. That's amazing. And what I find interesting is that you also have all of these, you have you have all of this resources and things that while you're still in prison. So it's not just a TV and nothing. I love it. I love it.
Well, the thing is, like in the federal system, because I can only speak from a federal, well, I can do state too because of the show. But for federal, you do have the law library where you have access to certain tools and resources. Like you can go in there and find the legal dictionary to understand what certain terms mean as far as a legal standpoint. So I was able to sit there. I had time on my hands doing nothing. Everybody else is playing around and doing other stuff. But for me, I just concentrated on what I thought was best. And that's when I worked on someone's case, I acted as a full attorney. Now, legally, I can't do that now. But when I was in there, you only work with what you have. And they only had me and a few others that practice, trying to assist them with their cases.
Girl, I don't even know if I'm gonna get all this in an hour. I don't even know. Girl, I'm like, so I've got Pastor Lorenzo in the chat. Hey, Pastor Lorenzo, how you doing? Thank you for watching.
How are you?
He's one of our super co-hosts here on the show. He's at work right now, but he said, look at God. He said, look at God. And he also says the same thing. Sounds like Paul. Sounds like a Paul moment with you in there. This is just amazing to me. I want to continue reading the bio that 60 Days In put for you. It says, since her release, this is since your real release, not the release from the show, but since your release, she has worked as an entrepreneur and volunteers her document preparation services to formerly incarcerated people. Are you still doing that? You're still offering that service?
I certainly am. I do it for free. I still do it. It is a task because it's me by myself, but I don't mind. Like if you email me and say, hey, can you look up this case? Can you please send me some information on this, or whatever? Then guess what? I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'll send the information in. I don't mind at all because I know how it was being up in there trying to fight for my own case, and others. So just to reach out to someone that's in help, of course, because I've been there.
Wow, I love that. And doing it, well, we're going to pray right now in Jesus' name that God will send financial resources to help you with this that you're doing, because we all know we need the resources, the financial part too. It also says that she has authored several books, including a picture book for children with incarcerated parents. Now that's got to be real special because you're saying you made a book for children whose parents are incarcerated. How did that come about? Okay, while she gets that over, let's read Pastor Lorenzo's chat. He says, the seed you are planting are going to open many doors. I love that. So how did the book come about regarding the children?
Well, the book, for me, I had my 6 children at the time that I had left behind, and I didn't know how to explain to them that mommy was going to prison. Wow. And it was such an emotional thing because being in there, a lot of the parents tell their children that they're at school, they're at college. No, tell them the truth first.
Wow.
Because then it'll stop a lot of things. It won't seem like you're hiding anything. So I wrote the book called Where is Mommy? And that's how it came about, because the way I had to explain to my children where I was going, and I didn't want to leave a stigma or a bad taste in their mouth as to what jail or prison was like. Yes, I committed a crime. I did. But at the same time, it didn't make me a bad person. Where I was going wasn't really a bad place. It was bad, but it wasn't as bad as people made it seem. And I'll share with you my son. I think he was about 16 at the time. He said, Mommy, if I don't hear from you, broke my heart. He said, "Mommy, if I don't hear from you, then I'm afraid. It scares me." And I said, "Baby, don't worry. It's a lot of mothers in here, and all we're trying to do is go home like everyone else."
Wow. Wow. Woo. This is amazing. To continue on with the bio, it says Rojana is volunteering to bring the program to enter the program because she has the institutional knowledge to gain intel from a facility and systematic standpoint. She hopes to expose flaws within the jail staff day-to-day operations, address the needs for future female inmates, and will use her paralegal expertise and education to assist them with the details and difficulties of their cases. Listen, I watched the show 60 Days In. I loved it. I think the first part, which kind of tickled me, when they were like, okay, you got to have to remove your wig. You're going to have to remove your wig. And I think some of the people, the viewers, are probably like, oh, good grief. What do you do? What do you do? Listen, I am part of the wig family. This is the wig family here. So I know that would have been my first part of, oh my goodness. Now you speak about this. We spoke a little bit about this off camera before we came on here live. Tell us about why that was even more difficult with you regarding having to remove the hair and then going in there with your natural. We spoke a little bit about the alopecia that you suffered. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I didn't really mind per se removing the wig when I had to go in for the 60 days in. But I know I got a lot of backlash from it because I'm an alopecia sufferer. I suffered with alopecia since I was about 12 years old. So removing a wig wasn't really a bad thing because it was me, all natural form, But a lot of the people did say a lot of things about my hair. But me, like I said, I'm old school. I grew up in the old school era. So I wasn't one of those people that was stuck on looking like a model or looking a certain way for a certain person. Me, I'm comfortable in the skin that I'm in. So it didn't matter if I pulled the wig off. Yes, I have, the issue around my edges, my perimeter, but I wanted to raise awareness about in the alopecia community that people are sufferers. And, I just wear a wig because it's comfortable and it makes me look unique. But at the same time, I just want people to know that people are depressed behind things like that. It's definitely a sadness, and people need to uplift and embrace the fact that there are people that can't help it. You can't help the fact that you're going through an autoimmune disease, because that's what it is, an autoimmune disease attacking you. So
it is something serious. It is something serious. Now, you went in there, and I know your goal was to find out what's going on with the prison system and how we can change some of the things that's in there. But I remember watching one of the episodes, I believe, when I first saw you on there, where one of the young ladies, she ended up having a seizure. I believe her name was Erica, I believe. She ended up having a seizure. And let me tell you, the compassion that I saw and also the fear at the same time that I saw in you. Tell us about that episode, that part, that scene.
Well, me and Erica, we kind of built up a relationship. And honestly, I've told her this before because we're still in contact, that I didn't like her because I really thought that she was a problem for the facility. She kept doing crazy things, but I also saw the innocence of a child, an inner child trying to come out. So when she started having seizures every day, it kind of hurt me because it's like, wow, nobody's doing anything about it. Or they would go in and say, oh, she's faking it. And, it just really hurt that this young lady just needed help. She needed somebody to pay attention to what was going on with her. The officers were very rude and, very inconsiderate. Now, you have a lot that come in and just, come on, it's the same procedure, the same drill that we have to do. But it was a lot of them that really hurt me. Like one of the episodes when they were having a seizure, and it's no racial thing. I'm open to everyone, but and me and my brother talked about this, but they ran to her aid. She was white. They ran to her aid versus Erica and paid more attention to her. And what you didn't see on camera was when one of the officers said, well, see, I can tell when one's faking it and one's not faking it. See, that was a real seizure. But that one, that's a fake one. That did something to me. But what could I say? That was blowing my cover, And why would you say that to me? And I'm an inmate also. I felt like when you have a situation like that, when it comes to the inmate and the officer relationship, I think there needs to be like a boundary. stay in your professional setting and let me do my time the way I should. I shouldn't know anything about how you feel about a particular inmate. That has nothing to do with me. But it also made me look at it in a
Yeah.
three-dimensional perspective as to like, wow, this is crazy.
Wow.
It
Wow.
was
And it's reality. And that's again the sad part. And I know some viewers may think, oh, we don't know if it is an act. But when it comes to having health concerns, everyone should still be looked at as a high priority, as a great importance, because you never know if it's going to be actual health concern or not. So I think they all should be looked at as important. And I tell you, I had a lot of compassion when I saw that particular scene with her. And when the lady that was in the cell with her was saying, hey, she's foaming at the mouth, we got to get some help. We've got to get some help. And even speaking when they were on camera and they were talking with some of the ladies, and Erica was saying after she had recovered and came back to herself, she was basically saying, I need someone to be able to be here that can watch me, because I don't want to hit my head on the floor or something. So those things. Yeah.
I actually went in the back in the cell, and I just started crying. I sat on the toilet. I think they showed this movie.
Yes.
And I started crying because it's like I'm helpless in this situation. Like I want to intervene, but at the same time, I want to protect my cover. I don't want anything to get in the way of what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
So it's just hurtful because so many of them had mental issues going on as well. Erica had the medical thing. My bunkie, she had a seizure. Another young lady, she had a bleed out, a bad hemorrhage. Another young lady that was up the stairs, she blacked out. So it was like so much going on. So much.
I saw a lot of it, what was happening in there. And again, this is nothing to the TV show. You're just showing us what happens in there. But what I saw was a lot of you who were in there as inmates were having to become like bedside nurses to try and help a lot of the people that were in there that weren't getting the attention that they need. And I'm praying that awareness will come to these prisons in America. I can't speak for, outside of the country and what goes on in those others, but here in America, as I was speaking to, Ms. Harris off camera, and I said, people have to understand that prisoners still have rights here in America. They still have rights, and they still should be treated as though they're still human. So this is a really good show to watch. Now, Miss Harris, the mental part, let's talk about that, because I saw some of the other castmates that went on, and they thought when they went in and did their scene, they're like, okay, I'm going to stay in here for the long haul. And they ended up not staying for the 60 days because their mental stability could not handle it. Tell us about the mental breakdown and the mental trauma that happens with inmates going into these prisons.
Well, for one, the lockdown facility, the lockdown pod was 23 hours to 1. If you're someone that's always used to having your freedom and you're locked down for 23 hours in your bedroom, 23 hours a day, and only have that 1 hour out for relief, and that's to go use the restroom. I mean, not the restroom, I'm sorry. That's to go take a shower, to call your family, let everybody know that you're okay, everything's fine, just to get some relief, to walk around instead of being in a little small cell.
Right.
That right there alone is just enough to have a mental breakdown. I think a lot of the issue was the noise. Everyone complained about the noise control.
Yes.
You're stuck in a cell, moaning over here, screaming, yelling. Somebody's trying to be heard. Nobody's trying to be at rest when they're stuck in a situation that they can't get out of. So that was a very big issue. I know for me, I don't think that the noise was like too bad because I have a lot of kids, so for me, I was like, hey, it's a piece of cake. So I think that's why my time in the lockdown pod was a little bit easier. But I did have my moments to where I was like, man, I'm ready to get out of here. Like if I had to do any more quarantine than the 14 days that I had to do, I think I probably would have been like, you know what, let me put my hands, let me rub my temples. I need to come out like right now. Get me out of here.
Yeah, that was a code. They had to rub their temples and let the camera know I can't do it.
Yeah,
I know. I really saw a lot of that was going on because the mental part of it by being in prison. And like you said, one thing you're in prison and the next thing you're dealing with the 23-1, it's a lot. It's really a lot. Well, you survived and you made it on the show, and you come out and you still want to have your journey of what you want to do to impact and help these inmates. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and the missions and things that you have in place right now.
So right now I'm doing an adopt an inmate program. Now that was not completely founded by me. There are a lot of different companies and groups that are doing it. But when I came home, I'm like, you know what? I can't call it anything else because that's what it is. And basically, when you adopt an inmate, you go in and you send me your email to connect you with someone that's in there. And the only thing you're doing is helping with either books, inspirational messages, daily devotionals, a Bible, just a friend, someone that you can have a partnership with for life. And I don't mean like a love connection because it's not like that. It's just that during the holiday times, more so any other time, a lot of people go through depression, sadness. I need to be at home. I should be at home with my children. You know, I
Yeah.
have a need to be
Yeah.
here. You know, so you're in a deep, dark situation to where you're sitting behind a monitor watching your children have Christmas and mommy can't be there or daddy can't be there, you know. So that's a depressing moment. But I figured if around this time I can get enough people to go in and adopt an inmate and just
Okay.
surprise them with some mail and letters, I think it'll just brighten your day up because there are a lot of people in there, believe it or not, that don't receive mail. They don't receive, you know, just anything from family. So just someone out the blue sending them a letter of encouragement. It's like, wow, I can't believe this. You know, I don't even know who this person is, but I got mail. You know, just for me, I know when I was incarcerated and just seeing someone who never got mail walk up and get mail, it's like, who wrote you? You know, they're happy, like, hey, you know, my dad wrote me, you know, I haven't talked to him in 5 years. So
Wow.
I want to just open it up to the world to give them an advantage to be able to help someone. I always say pay it forward, you know,
Yeah.
and again, this is not a financial tool. It's nothing that you have to come out your pocket just to send an email to someone to encourage them to, you can do better. You can fight this. I'm here with you. You know, if you feel like giving up, you feel like you're hopeless and helpless, let me know. I can help you. So yeah.
Wow, I love that. I love that. So we've got a few more viewers saying hello. We've got Erin in the chat. She says, hello, everyone. Hey, Erin, thank you for being here today. We've also got TD McCullum. He's in the chat. He's one of our other super co-hosts. He says hello, everybody. Say hello to Erin and saying hello to us. And Pastor Lorenzo says, I have had relatives incarcerated, and they said getting letters was so much help. They said
Yes.
getting the letters was so much help. I love it. And we've got Katie Reeves in the chat. She says, hey, girl, how are you, Katie? So happy that you're joining us today. Okay, so Miss Harris, how can we get these adopt an inmate going? What do we need to do? Do we reach out to you? Is there a website? Is there an email? What do we need so that we can also join you to be able to help these inmates? Because let me tell you, people, as she said, during this time of the year, people get sad and depressed. And I mean, we get sad and depressed and we're not in prison. We're out here in the free world. And imagine somebody who's locked up who can't go and see their family. Not that they don't want to go see, but they can't go and see. That's an even higher elevated, thank you, Holy Spirit, amount of depression. What can we do to help and how can we do it?
So basically, you can go online to either my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I don't really push too much on Twitter under my name, ROJONAH Harris Official. You can send me a message or you can comment on one of my videos and then I'll inbox you and I'll give you information as to, you know, what the requirements, not really requirements, but what the rules and regulations are for the facility, what you can and cannot do. And you shoot me your email. I send it to the inmate and then I'm out of it after that. You download the Core Links app and you guys correspond from there. And it's really that easy.
I love it. So if we go on to Instagram, we just type in your name. I'm trying to pull it up on the screen right here.
ROJONAH Harris Official.
ROJONAH Harris Official. Okay, so let's see if we put that in here. If we can pull that up because I want to make sure that people have the right one.
And also my TikTok is the same, ROJONAH Harris Official. They can find me there.
They can find you there. Okay, I think I've got you here and I'll put it up on the screen. Is this with the sexy picture here?
Yeah.
That's all right. Long as you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. So let's go ahead and share the screen so you all will know that you have the right page now. All right, men, ask your wife's permission.
That's me.
There's our
That's
beautiful page right here. All right. So you all make sure that you have that. We're going to click follow on here right now. So make sure that we're following you as well. Here's her page right here. You guys go and follow. I'm also going to put the link in here as well, so we can reach out to you. You've got your information here as well for your page. Now, we just inbox you on Instagram.
Yes, they can also click the link in the bio, and the link in the bio goes to my Prison to Power page, where it gives you information about the Adopted Inmate program as well.
Okay, great. All right, great. Now go ahead and I'll share that one in the description as well. We'll put that in the post there as well. So we've got everything there.
Prison got, Power.
Yes, I have it here. Prison Power. Let's go ahead and share that one with you also so that everyone is aware of that page as well. I love that. Here we go. We've got that on screen here now. Here it is here. Adopt an inmate. Mm-hmm. You have information right here. I have dropped that in the comment section, so you all will have the link there if you want to also help. And I don't think it should be if you want to help. I think everyone should help. Yeah. I think it should be a standard. Listen, I want to help. I want to be able to get involved. I want to do something positive. The Christmas season is upon us. And don't let it just be for Christmas, because they're not just in here just on Christmas. They're in here for, a long time.
Yes.
They don't want to be. So let's try and do what we can to help and do our part on this. Let me get in these comments because we've got several of them on here. Aaron says hello to Tyrone, and Katie reads. And Katie Reed says, I have adopted an inmate from the show, and it has been great for them and for her. Yes. I love that. I love that. The team is saying hello to you, Katie Reeds. I love it. And that's what we do on this channel. Everybody is always so nice and respectful in the chats by showing love to one another. T.D. McCullum says he has a question. Okay. He says, ROJONAH, what is one thing you took away from the show that you find yourself doing at home?
One thing I took away from the show that I find myself doing would be, I don't know. I think this was already instilled in me to be a nurturing person, but I also fight hard to promote getting your education. I try to push that hard because because it's lack thereof in there, then I fight harder to try to discipline myself to not only have compassion for others, but to understand that everybody isn't me. The things I have done while I was in there, that's not somebody else's life. I can't pound the same thing that I went through on somebody else. They're going through a different sadness and a different depression than I was. I was a self-surrender. So they didn't just come pick me up. I turned myself in. That's a difference. So that means I had time to go in and prepare mentally on going in. Mentally, what I was going to do with myself once I got through those walls. So I kind of had like a 2-month time span before I had to turn myself into the federal facility. So a lot of people just yank them off the streets and they take them in. So then you're fighting with the sadness, depression, the anger, the rage. I want to get out of here. Why is my family taking so long? What is going on? Why is the judge saying this? I don't know what's going on with my case. That wasn't my story. So I had to start putting myself in a different situation to understand that I'm going to look from the outside looking in at these people to understand that their situation isn't mine. I can't force anything on anyone.
Wow. And that is a point that you make. The people that self-surrender, they have enough time to go to the family members, give those hugs and say, listen, I'm going to turn myself in. They have time to get their affairs in order and so forth. But people who are captured don't have that. So I can see now that you said that, the difference in the mental state when one goes in as a self-surrender and one goes in when they've been what we call just picked up on the street and taken in. That does add to a lot of that. I can see that. Katie Morgan. Hey, Katie. Katie's in the chat. Said, hey, how you doing, Katie? Katie said, I posted a video about adopting an inmate. It's so easy to do. Do what you can and you can encourage others. Rojana is amazing. I could tell already she's amazing.
Thank
I
you.
can tell. I can tell. How important would you say that it is to do our part in adopting an inmate?
It's so important, not only important, but it's very imperative because when I got in there, a lot of people do. I mean, and this is true because it happened to me. They leave you behind. They forget. Once you go in, that's it. I mean, for the first month or two, maybe the first 6 months, everybody's so sad that you're in and what you're going through. But after that, life goes on. It's as if you died. Like I had to, and I
Right.
hate to say this, but I had to tell my kids, I said, listen, mommy is gone, but my brother, he passed away. He's never coming back. You're gonna get mommy again. Just it's different. It's harder. It's a lot. It's hard to explain to a child that I couldn't compare it to nothing more than death. With
Wow.
death, my brother isn't coming back. But with
Mhm.
me going in, I'm coming out. You're gonna have mommy again. And I still had to learn how to parent behind the walls. If
Mhm.
that makes sense. I had to still be a parent. I still had to encourage my children. I still had to be that woman from within. That's tough.
It
And a lot of
is.
people
It
tell me, oh,
is.
you can't do that. You can't. I did. My kids had a higher respect for me in there. They valued my opinion because I'm mom, and they still had that connection. So it's very important and again imperative that everyone chips in to let someone know that you are worthy. Just
Mhm.
because you're in there, that doesn't make you and define you. Yes, you committed a crime. That still stays there. But
Mhm.
what are you going to do differently to come out better than before? So you have to go in and recopy and rebrand yourself. And I
All
told
right
them, I
now.
said, this right here, this is your movie that you're making. Make the
Mm.
best, make the best of it. And that's what I wanted to do when I was in there. I wanted to make that blueprint of myself, but redefine and recapture the woman that I was, but brand myself as a better me. And that's what I did.
Come on now. That's all powerful words right there. And I love that you said you kept it truthful with your children. Even
Yeah.
when you were going in, you kept it truthful. And like you said, a lot of parents do tell their kids, I'm going to college or I'm going here, going there. You guys, when your kids get older, they're going to find out college was prison and they're going to be mad at you because you lied. So
Yeah.
tell the truth. Like she said, tell the truth and deal with that so that you won't have to deal with the lie later.
That's right. Yeah,
Deal with
because
that. I love that. Tell me more about this book that you wrote and Where is Mommy and how can we get that?
so I actually have 4 books that's out there. The one
Okay.
that's most popular is called Finding the Impossible Me. That's on Amazon. And that's a book about everything that I went through in a spiritual way while I was incarcerated. So I try to push that book out there more so for someone that's going through or facing incarceration or someone that has a family member because it talks about my experience being in there on a spiritual realm. So
Mhm.
I really push that book out there to anyone. Finding the Impossible Me.
I love it. Now, Pastor Lorenzo says in the chats, he says, you show that you can be physically bound, but spiritually free.
Absolutely. I love that.
I love that. I love that. And Erin is saying, thank you. She's saying, thank you for this. Now, Finding the Impossible Me, Where is Mommy? All these books you're saying, are they all on Amazon, the 4 books? And are they
Yes.
under your name when we
Yeah,
log in? Or is there a writer name? Some people
no.
use a writer name.
Oh no, they're under my name. And I also have one on Gumdrop, which is made how to make money in today's time. I try to
Okay.
push it out there to show women that there are legitimate ways that you can make money. It doesn't necessarily have to be in an illegal way. You can make money. What I chose to do when I did taxes, yes, I committed a crime. I Skyped up those taxes and put stuff on there that I wasn't supposed to do. But then it also placed me in a mission of where I am now. My mission was to come out and come reformed, to
Right.
not have those same habits, to get into a perspective to where, people can look up to me and not look down at me. So,
Ooh, you better come on now. Look up at you and not look down at you. Better come on and preach these words. You
yes.
better come on and preach that. I love that. I love that. I'm going to go on Amazon and check out these books as well. I advise all of you who are watching to do the same, especially the book, even the
Oh,
title just
Gumroad. I'm sorry, my daughter, I have it on TikTok Live. My daughter said Gumroad. I can hear her voice in my head saying, Gumroad, Mom. Gumroad. Gumroad. Yeah, it's on Gumroad.
I love it. I love it. So you have them also on Amazon, you said, right?
They're
The
on
Where is Mommy and Finding the Impossible Me?
and Made How to Make Money in Today's
And
Time.
How
And,
to Make Money in Today's Time.
and
Okay.
my
Great.
last book is a hardback copy, it's a soft copy. I put together this ABC book because I have a lot of family members that don't know how to read. I mean, I know it's like it's 2022 and people still don't know how to read. No,
Wow.
they don't. I have family members. I can remember a while back, my grandmother, they always wanted me to read for them when I was so young, like 10 years old, trying to read for my grandparents and my aunts and my cousins and stuff, to where I was just, it just really did something to me. But then now that I don't have them, it's like I wish I could have did more.
Wow.
So I wanted to fight off illiteracy by creating the book, ABC, the ABC book. And that's just a start on how you can start taking advantage of the steps on how to learn to read. You know, because
Wow.
I have people in my family that they can't read. I'm serious, they cannot read. I wanted to help by fighting off illiteracy, by doing that for them.
Love this. And some people may think, just like you say, hey, it's 2022, what do you mean they can't? But there are a lot of people, like you say, somebody may say, hey, can you read this for me? I don't have my glasses. And it's really not about the glasses. It's about they cannot read the words that's on the page.
Well,
And
yeah,
mhm.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I didn't want to forget
Yeah.
I'll tell you this story. My aunt got a job working at a nursing home, and she was hired as a cook. And we were like, that's great. She thought that when she cooked, she could go in and put her own stuff together, but not knowing that when you get there, they have their recipes and they had
Ooh.
things that she had to read. So my aunt had to lie and say that she didn't have her glasses, so she couldn't read the words on there. But really and truly, she couldn't read. And it broke my heart. I cried for her.
Yeah.
It made me sad because it just takes like just a moment to sit down there to try, So
Yeah.
illiteracy is still a real thing. And the way technology is advanced, you can talk into your phone and it writes the words out for you. But we need to get it in the mud, the right way. Learn.
We do. We do. There's a famous movie out, The Book of Eli. He knew it in his heart, but let me tell you, they still went and wrote it all back down again, y'all.
Yeah.
The Book of Eli with Denzel Washington. Wonderful movie. I'm telling you, wonderful. And it's really about that. You can know it, but it still needs to be written. And even though it's written, people still need to be able to read it.
Yes,
Still
absolutely.
need to be able to read it. I love that. So Pastor Lorenzo said in the chat, he says Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. I love it. Katie says in the chat, she says, I am very passionate about teaching people to read. That's awesome. Yes, go ahead.
For me, I was so hurt that I had to go into the federal system and do the 2.5 years that I didn't understand my mission. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for that dip and that fall and that crawl. If it wasn't for that, God wouldn't have put me in place to get to where I'm at on my life's journey. And I tell you what, I feel it in my spirit. There's more to come. There's more to come. There's more to come.
I believe that. Let me tell you, I have been feeling the Holy Spirit so strong since early this morning. I emailed you about 8:30 this morning. I said, I don't know if she up yet, but I was up because he was all over me. And I'm telling you, this thing is really strong. And what you just said, the dip, the fall, the crawl. A lot of people don't understand that even through the crawl. I did a post this morning. You can go back on my channel and take a look at that on my post there. Take a look at that. Hold on one second. Clovis, call Willie. He's calling me. And I did a post on there and it spoke about the storm. When the storm comes in, you have to be able to tell the storm, I rebuke the storm in Jesus' name. Yes. I rebuke the sea. You got to be able to do that. But you also have to understand that things are happening in your life for a reason.
Yes.
They're happening in your life they don't always look nice. They don't always feel nice. Nope. They don't. But there is a purpose in everything. And a lot of you who feel like, you're wasted up or you're washed up or you're no good and you've done so much wrong and you can't do any more better. You can still do better.
I had to take my fall in order to get myself back up.
Right.
I took my fall. I needed that. I don't think that people know the stress that I was going through. The fact that I had to run my business, pay for 2 houses, rent the office, do everything on my own. That was taking control of me. But what about me? What
Woo.
about me? So when I got pulled out of that rut, when the feds came in and everything was over with and done, I was happy. I'm being
Oh,
honest. I was at peace.
wow.
I was at peace.
Wow. Because
I
that
was
was your start over moment. You're like, okay,
it
now I
was,
can't do this no more. That's my start over moment. I got to
yeah,
start over. That's God saying, listen, listen, Rojana, I know you did it, but we going to use it for my good. We going to still use it for my good.
that's right. I had to
I,
let go and let God in the midst of it all.
some people don't understand, but I'm going to tell you, I understand that totally. Pastor Lorenzo understands it also because he said in the chat, society makes us shame when we don't know something.
Yes.
Oh, tell me about it. This society in America is something else. Aaron says, Rojana, you are an inspiration and thank you for being a blessing to so many.
Thank you, Aaron.
I love it. Did I get Katie's comment up here? If not, I'm going to read it again. She says, I'm very passionate about teaching people to read. She said, that's awesome.
Thanks,
Tyrone
Katie.
says, that teaching was amazing, Regina. Thank you so much. The teaching that we had this morning on our Monday morning inspiration. I try to help, Tyrone. I try to help. Thank you for that, Tyrone. Pastor Lorenzo says, I need to have you on my show. He's saying to you, Rojana. He said,
Okay.
there is an anointing on your life. He said, this is close to my message for this coming Saturday. Yes.
Awesome.
And I
I'll
will share with you Pastor Lorenzo's site. He's on Facebook, and I'll share with you. He does a podcast. It Takes a Village podcast, and he is doing wonderful work. And like I said, he's one of our team members on here. And we do that. We share. We're gonna share you with everybody. We're gonna share you with everybody because we're gonna try and get you out to as many platforms as we can. Because, like I told you off camera, this is too important to let just sit idle.
Yes.
Because you're doing too much good to help. This adopt an inmate, I believe, is just one of several things that you're going to be doing. You know, it's just one of several. And people, she's doing all of this, and she's got 7 babies.
Yes.
She has 7 babies. Well, they're not all babies, but she's got 7 kids. So for all of you out there that don't have any children and you act like you can't do nothing, come on now.
Yeah.
Y'all can do something. The first thing you can do is to go on her site, on her Instagram page, and go to this website, Adopt an Inmate. All of y'all got an email right about now. Y'all go on over there and email and help support. And let's find out how we can support her and these inmates as well. You know, you might, if you can't, if Rajana can't help you with what you need to do, then maybe you want to go to your local police station, your local sheriff's office, your local prison, and say, listen, what can I do? What are some of the things that you think the prisons may need our assistance with? And how can we help them? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on it, the prison, like you go in there to try to ask them for help, it's not going to be easy,
Mhm.
because a lot of them are trained to act a certain way, have a certain directive and a certain
Yeah.
order, when it comes to securing the inmates' information. The only reason I have access is because I email them frequently and we talk on a regular basis. So I have like an email directory of the ones that I speak with, and then they've shared the information with others who've gotten on my email list so that I can add them to
Great.
take advantage of getting assistance as well.
Great. Well, I love it. Well, Miss Nikisha Walker is in the chat. Hey, Nikisha. She said, that's it, sis. Let me tell you, Miss Nikisha has a wonderful play that's coming up, and she always knows the right time to come and put her comment up so that I can share some information about her. She said, this is really great. It is.
Thank
Let me tell you,
you.
I'm going to stay in contact with Rajana. I'm going to stay in contact with her. Right now, Rajana, I have got some Bibles in the bag that I was just saying, what am I going to do with all these Bibles? I got so many Bibles. And then when you mentioned, when we were first doing our interview before the camera started rolling, and you mentioned Bibles, I said, ding, 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 because I was just about to say, what can I do with all these Bibles? Who can I donate these Bibles to? Some are still in the case, never been opened. I just bought them because I saw it was a great sale, and I just wanted to have them in case I could hand them out to somebody. So I now know where I could be donating these Bibles to, and I'm going to be sending them to you. Now, I told Rajana also off camera that I had something that I wanted to share with her, but I would wait until the cameras are rolling because it's very interesting information. A lot of you know a lot about my life, but there's one part that maybe some of you are not aware of, and it's this. I served some time in a local jail myself.
What?
I did. I did. It was not prison. It was a local jail. Listen, it was like prison to me.
That's right.
And
I know.
here's the thing. Now, some of you have to understand, maybe you need to have a change of heart for some of these people that are in jail, because you look at people like myself and others, even looking at ROJONAH, and you may say, I wouldn't have ever imagined they were in jail. I ended up going to jail because I was in an abusive relationship. I'm gonna try to hold these tears back. I was in an abusive relationship, a physically abusive relationship, and I had held it from my family with my first husband. I had held it. I did not tell anybody. And it got so bad, the abuse, and I was tired of the beatings, tired of everything. I had a little daughter, and what happened was the individual told me that he was going to take my daughter from me and do this, whatever, and so forth. And at the thought of my daughter being harmed, I rose up. I rose
Right.
up and I began to fight. And when I finally decided to fight and fight hard and fight to win, he decided to call the police. Well,
Wow.
when the police finally came, when the police did come, they asked me what happened. And I'm such a truth teller. I told them the truth. I said he was trying to take my daughter and do things to my daughter. And I told him I was going to kill him. And I was doing my best to try and kill him. Well, I didn't know, but my lawyer told me, you don't say you're going to kill somebody in front of the police.
That's true.
And I said, well, he was talking about my daughter. She was only, she was only 2 at the time. And I was really going to kill him. And I did. I ended up getting taken to the police station. I got arrested. The good thing about my case was I already had works, because I had went behind his back and filed for divorce secretly.
Good.
And he had not been served the papers yet. And my lawyer had also filed for a restraining order, and she was trying to get me to find a place to move out so that she could serve him with the restraining order paperwork. So all of that was already at my lawyer's office when I got arrested.
Thank God.
So my lawyer was able to use all of that information, and my mom was able to come and get me to put my bail. And get this, you guys, I had just filed my income taxes and my money had just went into my bank account. So my mom, all she had to do was to go and withdraw the money from my account. It went in the same day that I needed the money for my bail. When I tell you God will set it up and he will get you out of a situation that you're too afraid to come out of.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he had set it all up for me to get out of that relationship and to have the money there to be able to do it. So let me tell y'all, everybody that's in prison shouldn't be in prison. Everybody that's in jail shouldn't be in jail.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been there, but I wanted to fight to save my daughter's life, but nobody was looking at the bruises that was on me. Nobody looked at that. They only looked at the threat that I said, but they never looked at the bruises that were on me. So I'm telling you all, have a change of heart for some of these prisoners, some of these people that are in there. Find out what their stories are. Find out what happened. And do like ROJONAH is saying, and adopt an inmate. I'm sure there are some stories of some people that are in here that you all are probably going to gasp at.
Yes. I mean, I was telling someone
Yes.
that in there, it was so bad that people really didn't even have places for their children to go. Like they just
Right.
didn't have, they would rather them be in the in child protection versus be with anybody because they didn't have nowhere for their kids to go. Like, y'all, it's sad. I mean, my bunkie, she had just had a baby and she had got 12 years. She was already in it, so
Wow.
just be a blessing to somebody else. I
Yeah.
can't do nothing but transmit the word through God. God sent me to do this mission and I'm appreciative of it. So if you could please just help out, and like I said, I have a thing on there about donations. I'm very weary about taking donations because of course my crime was fraud, but in lieu of the donations, please just adopt an inmate. You don't have to send a donation because what I did, and I have a track record of it, I sent those money straight to the ones that I thought really needed it, so I split the money out. But please, in lieu of that, please just reach out to me and adopt an inmate. That's all I ask you. Just adopt me, please.
And when you do it, have some compassion because a lot of people go through some stuff. I mean, you just heard my story, which I really didn't share with anybody. ROJONAH don't come on my platform and she all making me just break down in tears and share my stories. And I ain't never done this stuff on my platform. It's got to be the Holy Spirit because I'm one of these strong, Capricorn women.
I am too a Capricorn. Yes, I'm a Capricorn. And usually I'm the one doing all the crying, but I had to hold myself up. Yes, I'm a Capricorn too.
I'm telling you, I'm a strong Capricorn woman, but you
Yes.
know, when the Holy Spirit tells me, and he kept telling Regina, tell your story. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. He's like, Regina. I'm like, no, I'm not. Regina. But I did. I had to fight for my daughter. And let me tell you, and then, you know, even after that, I had to fight with my daughter. And she didn't understand that I had to fight for her. And so that's a
Right.
whole nother show. But everybody have some compassion for these inmates.
Please
Have some
do.
compassion when they come out. I know a lot of you may, you know, not understand how, you know, to deal with the situation, you know, as it comes, but reach out to people like Rojana, who's going to give you the tools that you need. Reach out
Yes.
to people like her and let's start treating them again as human beings who made a
Yes.
little mistake, like Erica in the show. And one thing I loved about it, when you were hungry because you had missed your meal,
Yeah.
Erica said, well, here, I got some ramen noodles.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my gosh, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Me
And
and
then the
her.
other people were like, something's wrong with her. But
Yeah. We're
she's
still really good
misunderstood.
friends. She calls me auntie. So I kind of mentor with her and the other girl that was my bunkie on there. I
Yeah,
talk to them. We talk on a regular basis. Yeah.
I think she's just really misunderstood.
She
And you
was.
know, I think she, you know, she just listen, she's a sweetheart. Anybody who offer you ramen noodles and y'all all in there trying to struggle together,
Yes.
she
Yes.
okay. She okay with me. So
Yeah.
Tina McCullum says, yes, I see the anointing is to bridge to people, is to be a bridge to people. He said, as a bridge, you are able to get everyone to who or where they need to connect to for their future.
Yes,
That's the way he sees you.
absolutely.
I love it. Pastor Lorenzo says, I'm trying to be quiet, but Rojana, I have an idea we need to talk about.
Okay.
Regina, I love it. He said, Regina Ogborn, you have favored to get the guests that are God sent. Thank you, Pastor
Amen.
Lorenzo.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And
Yes.
Nikisha says, praise God, testify. Nikisha, that thing took everything out of me. Nikisha took everything out of me. Tyrone says, wow, Regina. And Nikisha says, yes,
Yes.
he will. And Erin is so nice. I call her our cheerleader. She says, so sorry you went through that, Regina, but thank you for being so brave to share. Yes,
Absolutely.
I love it. Nikisha says, you did what you needed to, and it is okay.
Yes.
Amen. And Pastor Lorenzo says, Sister Rajana, don't let your past stop your blessings. If people want to give, let them. Second Corinthians says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is new, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, things have become new.
I love it.
I love that. And Aaron says in the chat, Rojana, so glad you came on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. I followed you on IG. I can't wait to learn more of how I can help and adopt.
Thank you, Erin. I can't wait to connect.
I love that so
Love
much.
it too.
Rojana, this has been a blessing to me. I'm gonna have to go and refresh myself.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I understand.
This has been a blessing. Thank you so much. And really, I do want to stay in contact with you. I don't like to have people on my platform and have a disconnect. I really do want to connect with you. I'm going to be sharing this video again on the YouTube channel. We need to get this really broad out there, really
Yes.
totally out there. I will be sharing with you. I'll email you Pastor Lorenzo's information so you can be on his platform as well. And
Okay.
we just need to do, like you said, we just need to continue to help the inmates. If you have not done so already, please go on her YouTube page, her Instagram page, Rojana Ro Harris, and also the website. There's a link there for the website for the way that you can adopt a prisoner. To get more information, go ahead on there. And just if you need to get in touch with Rojana, if you can't get in touch with her, just reach out to me here at the Juice Radio and Talk Show, and I'll make sure to get the information to her. You can do that by going to a lot of these platforms that we have, but I'm going to bring up on the screen here our YouTube, our social media sites. Here's all our information here. Feel free to go on our email site. You can just email us at thejuiceradioandtalkshow@gmail.com if you would like to send us some information or questions that you may have or ways that you would like to help or if you have some information or some materials that you would like to donate to ROJONAH, make sure that you let me know and I'll make sure that she gets that information. You can also visit our website, thejuiceradio.net, for more information on how to give and how to be a blessing to our platform as well. I want to thank our sponsor, Truth and Tribe Ministries, for being a great sponsor to this platform to help us to go out and get the good news out about people like ROJONAH, who's doing wonderful work. This is truly God's work. This right here, y'all, is better than being in the church service from the pew. This stuff right here. And Truth and Tribe Ministries, thank you for supporting us to be able to be out here to share ROJONAH's story and the mission that she has. I love it, ROJONAH. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So Natasha says, I came on late. I will get the info. Yes, Natasha, Nikisha, I'm sorry, Nikisha, you're going to love to get this information. Now, she has a play that you all want, and I'm glad she put that comment in there. Nikisha has a play called Decoding Mary. It's a stage play. It's going to be right here in Stockbridge, Georgia. I'm not in Stockbridge, but it's going to be in Stockbridge, Georgia. It's January 28th. You can go to Eventbrite to get more information on that. Eventbrite, okay? All you have to do when you go to Eventbrite, type in Decoding Mary stage play, and you'll find the information. Y'all get y'all tickets because it speaks of a woman with DID, dissociative identity disorder. It is good. It's going to be a great play. I've already got my tickets and I want you all to get yours as well. I want to thank ROJONAH for being on the platform today. Thank you so much, ROJONAH, for being here. I have learned so much.
Thank you.
I'm like, I'm full. I'm full. I haven't even had lunch and I'm full.
I know, right? I really appreciate you having me on here. I just like now I'm just so grateful to God that I spiraled down and then I got lifted back up, because once I got incarcerated, I just felt like everybody else, like that was the end of my journey. But God just kept telling me that no, there's more to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There sure is. And we're trying to log up, but listen, I don't like anybody being missed out on these comments. So Pastor Lorenzo says this, and I'm going to end with this comment. He says, this was like a revival.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much again for being on panel. I'm going to go ahead and log off, but you and I will go in the green room. So once we log off, you just stay right there. Don't click off. But those of you who have been watching, you've been watching the Juice Radio and Talk Show. We've been listening and speaking with Miss ROJONAH Harris. I mean, I love her. I love her. From one of the cast members of 60 Days In, the TV show that's on. Y'all go and watch the TV show. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to get a lot more understanding. You're going to get a lot more knowledge. And I believe that if we would watch shows like this that are really meant to help us improve, then we could be able to do the improvement that's needed. And reach out to ROJONAH and adopt an inmate today, okay? They need it. Y'all still got time to go out there shopping and get some things to send for this Christmas year. Y'all, come on now, help ROJONAH out. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and find me a box to put these Bibles in.
Thank you.
Send it to her, all right? I love y'all for watching. Thank y'all so much. Y'all be blessed. On the count of 3, ROJONAH, we're going to say goodbye. You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Bye.